And so for many of us, we have sensed for a long time that something has been shifting in the visible church, and not slowly, but it has been accelerating. And what can make this difficult to process is that it doesn't look like just one movement, but it looks like many. But underneath, there appears to be a common pattern going on, not something random and not something entirely all disconnected. It appears to be systematic. And so on the surface, we can identify very different streams. There is the Reformed Neo-Calvinist movements, and they are drifting into covenant frameworks and lordship salvation emphasis. And then you have the seeker-sensitive, purpose-driven churches influenced by leaders like Rick Warren, and they have this emergent postmodern church expression. And thirdly, we see this new Apostolic Reformation, NAR. They are emphasizing modern apostles and authority power structures. And they may not look all that compatible on the surface, but if we take a step back, we can see that they begin to produce similar trajectories, not necessarily identical theology, but a shared direction of movement. All drift from simple dependence on Christ himself, and they are moving towards systems, networks, and mediated authority. So the increasing focus becomes more on earthly outcomes over Christ's appearing. Paul warned in Colossians 2:8, "Beware lest anyone cheat you through philosophy and empty deceit, according to the tradition of men, according to the basic principles of the world, and not according to Christ." So what many of us are seeing is not an outright denial of the gospel, though it might as well be, but a repositioning of emphasis. Instead of Christ alone as righteousness or Christ himself as our life, we begin to notice structured growth models, metrics for spiritual maturity, behavioral or moralistic systems, and subtle expectations that resemble more of a works-based salvation. And so these may actually sound helpful and even practical, but over time, the center, it shifts. It shifts from what Christ has accomplished, his finished work, to what man is building, sustaining, or advancing. Paul, he speaks directly into this tension. Are you so foolish, having begun in the Spirit, are you now being made perfect by the flesh? Galatians 3:3. And this shift is not always immediately obvious. It seems to be coming through gradual conditioning.